Yes, so total 107 participants have joined.
Yes,
So I
ma'am.
welcome all participants.
Shall we start, sir?
Yeah.
Good morning to everyone. On the behalf of Ashoka College of Education, I heartily welcome to all principals, vice principals, professors, teachers, exam committee members, academicians, and admin officers throughout the country for today's national webinar on digital transformation in education, a forward approach. I also welcome to today's resource person, Mr. Yogesh Pawar, Director of Digital Education IT Solutions Private Limited. I heartily welcome our Director, Dr. D.M. Gujrati, our Administrator, Dr. Narendra Telrande, the Principal of Ashoka College of Education, Dr. Ajay Kumar Ingre, Vice Principal, Professor Asha Thoke, and all the college faculties of Ashoka Education Foundation. I would like to introduce about Ashoka Education Foundation in short. Ashoka Education Foundation was established in 2002 under the dynamic leadership of Mr. Ashokji Kataria, who is a true visionary and educationalist. It focuses on developing centers of excellence, providing need-based globalized education. And individuals based on firm belief of God and Indian culture and ethos. Under the umbrella of Ashoka Education Foundation, welcomed the idea and accepted the proposal. Director Dr. M. Gujrati and Administrator Dr. Narendra Telrade provided excellent help for the webinar. Our Principal Dr. Ajay Kumar Ingre provided timely guidance and cooperation. Our Vice Principal and IC Coordinator Professor Asha Thoke took initiative and efforts to organize the webinar. This is a little bit of our institution and Ashoka Education Foundation. Then I would like to request our Administrator Dr. Telrande sir to address the audience.
Yeah, thank you, Smita madam.
Welcome, sir.
I'm very happy today in the morning that the Ashoka College of Education has given a thought on working in forward direction. We know, we all are aware of what is happening around and what is the need of time now. Maybe this thing which we are thinking today, we would have thought it after 2 years, maybe we would have thought it so seriously after 2 years. But because of this particular COVID situation, we started thinking it 2 years early as an education institute, but definitely digital edu-IT solution, they have thought it well in advance. So they are ahead of us technologically, and as an education sector people, we are a little bit lagging behind. So we are also thankful. I'm really thankful to the Digital Edu IT Solutions Private Limited that they are ready with certain solutions and they are thinking, and in such a difficult situation, to get guidelines from them about how to go ahead about. And this is a challenging situation as of now. If we think of, there are debates going on the television, there are debates going on at every nook and corner, that how the students will cope up, how the teachers will cope up. Suddenly a teacher who is just 12th passed and DEd in a JP school has to handle high-tech applications and mobile phone and different web applications which they had not heard for maybe last 5 years. And within a week, they are asked to work on it, learn, and then start using those applications, maybe Zoom classes, maybe Moodle, maybe Teams, maybe Google Class. So many platforms we worked on for last maybe 1.5 months. And I'm really happy that we as Indian had really coped up with the situation within 2 months, that is 60 days, for which people have taken years together. And in every corner of this particular country, we'll see people sitting with a mobile and students attending classes in villages on the Zoom. They are logging into Google Class and they are getting conversant so fast that we are now ready. I would say education 4 ready. We are ready. Industry 4 we call it. But now I would like to say education 4. We are ready with education 4.0, that all the population. And credit goes to people like Sir you, that who already had thought about it, and you are ready with the solutions in the situation. And this definitely is going to help all the participants. And takeaway of this particular webinar would be the confidence level of all the participants regarding handling the situation post-COVID. So I wish you all the best and success for this seminar. And thank you very much, sir, for immediately accepting our invitation and enthusiastically providing all the support from your side. Maybe we would have not got such a expertise, but wholeheartedly and open-heartedly you had extended the support for our webinar. So I wish all the best, and I thank all the participants for giving such an overwhelming response. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now I request Professor Asha Thoke to introduce us about the webinar and today's resource person, Mr. Yogesh Pawar.
Thank you, Professor Smita ma'am. Good morning to everyone. I, Assistant Professor Asha Thoke, and the convener of this one-day national webinar. I welcome all the participants, and I would like to congratulate all the participants that you have taken the first step by registering this national webinar. So it shows that you want to bring the change and you want to bring the transformation in your lives and also in your students' life and in your institutions. It is said that some people go through the life and some people grow through the life. You all are the people
Hello. Hello. I'm not able to hear Priyanka ma'am. Am I audible to you? Hello. Hello. Priyanka ma'am, am I audible to you? Hello.
Integrated package of software, hardware, and IT infrastructure. So it is our great pleasure to welcome you, sir. And now I would like to request Yogesh, sir, to start our session. Thank you so much. Thank you all the participants. Now we'll begin our session. Yogesh,
Yeah.
sir,
Yes.
over to you.
Thank you, Asha ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Telrande. Uh, and thank you very much for the whole organizing committee for giving me opportunity to be part of this event. I welcome all the participants who are with us currently uh, connected with us on Zoom as well as on YouTube. So in today's session, we are going to focus on some important aspects of digital transformation. Some important aspect of digital transformation that means the communication aspects, okay, the exam related aspects, the admission related aspects, the homework assignments, the quizzes, as well as the feedback from collecting feedback and satisfaction surveys from various different stakeholders, and there are many other aspects which we are going to focus today. And as Mr. Telrande has started in his
So,
speech,
Yogesh sir,
yeah,
Yogesh sir, YouTube Live is not streaming.
okay, just a minute.
We have faced some issue.
Yeah, it's getting timed out, so we are not getting success response from YouTube. So I'm trying continuously. Okay, it will go live once we start it normally. I will have to repeat it simultaneously. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it will get resolved. It will get resolved. Okay.
okay.
Yeah, fine. So as Mr. Telrande sir has mentioned that we have to be future ready. Okay, so a very clear message he has given to all of us, and to be future ready we will have to make use of efficient use of technology for betterment of simplifying and effective utilization of all the available resources. Okay, so that is a necessity of time. And one more thing, we all have to appreciate that in last 2.5 months there was oh, a tremendous change which we have noticed in the education domain, especially in teaching and learning process. So students also has acquainted those technical skills of using various different technological solution, as well as all my friends who are educators have really put the special efforts to cope up with the need. Okay, so to start with, I'm going to focus on the other aspects of education domain. Yeah, so hello everyone, welcome to the today's session where we are going to discuss about digital transformation in education. I am Yogesh Pawar, a social engineer at ART. Continuous improvement, business excellence and performance improvement is my passion. I'm a member of Quality Accreditation Board. I'm involved with various quality driving tasks at industrial level as a mentor, consultant, certification guide, assessor, auditor and coach. I started my journey into education domain for integrating technologies and institutional processes. Since last 10 years, I'm serving in education sector as a founder member of Digitality. Currently, I'm heading operations and which gives me opportunity to meet educators and educationists pan-India for resolving their challenges. That brings me here to help you in dealing with the current challenges of education industry. Let's have a quick look at the agenda points. Never before in human history we have witnessed educational disruption at this scale. They say sooner or later many of us will get affected by the virus and 90% of affected will face no or lesser medical situation. It is forcing us to change our legacy processes. We as educators, educrats, educationists need to go back to drawing boards and relay out our institutional processes. I welcome you all to join with me and let's understand the impact and the solutions from technology point of view. We will need to live with Corona's bad effects. Containment zones and quarantine centers, movability of resource will always be doubtful for first semester in the academic year 2020. Due to all these happenings and uncertainties, administrators of educational institutes are under tremendous pressure. Complete adoption of digital media and total give up on paperwork is only way out. More than physical infrastructure, we need to focus on being with best digital infrastructure. Digital transformation is need of an hour. Corporate-led approach is must for day-to-day chores and process automation. Over the years, we all have worked not to change or to change minimally for our administrative processes when it comes to education. What I'm trying to say is, even if we adopted automation, we will have to keep hooks for paper trial and human checks. We have never imagined paperless colleges and schools. To meet up these challenges, only technology has the best answer. We all need to respect, learn and adopt the new processes for our own success. Technology is not integrated if it's not linked with our tasks, and it will only add up to the work that is not really helpful in long run. These are the 6 major sections where technology will surely help and will be useful for each educational organization. Let's take a detailed view of each as offered by our ERP MIS system called as SIMS, Student Information Management System. In my view, when even some of staff members are working from home, communication becomes a very important aspect which might have been overlooked. Communication will become bottleneck for all quality and performance oriented tasks. Task Manager can be the best tool for monitoring peer-to-peer collaboration. As everyone is working from home, efficient communication system will make life more easy and will speed up operations. SIMS covers communication over mobile app, web portal, SMS and email. What it means that any notice, alert, message, GR is communicated to respective stakeholders in more than one method, that is app, portal, SMS and email too. If admission is not made easy and available from home, then enrollment for the year may drop, leading to heavy impact on workload and teacher-student ratio. We have devised an efficient admission process that is very easy, intuitive and quick. SIMS covers all aspects from admission inquiry management to roll number generations and ID cards too. Digital Edu has designed the system which is highly configurable and very modular. This means that based on the needs of institute, we can change various steps and depth of information needed from admission seeker very easily and quick in time. We support digital document repository to get rid of handling papers and documents. As a statutory requirement demands, we keep track of reservation quotas, scholarships and provisional admissions too. Roll number generation utility can be configured to generate alphanumeric roll numbers based upon the requirement of each course or class. For admission from home, online payment and respective record keeping becomes very crucial. One of the important goals of admission process is to assign and collect fees. Fees can be paid online by students using net banking, debit credit cards, UPI app and wallets too. We offer a complete set of communication friendly tool for requesting and approving partial payments and installments in the fees. Bank reconciliation utility works like a breeze to map out target and collections. We maintain all records of student balance and fee dues with the dates. Overall, this information can be then imported into systems like Tally or any other accounting software. Various popular streaming tools are available for delivering lectures. I am very thankful to those companies who are offering it free for education. But it also has increased our way by means of manual setups, creating meeting requests, distribution of links, timetables and keeping up all the required discipline issues. There are various other things that might be needed for continuous student engagement, encouragement and tracking. It's just not enough to deliver lecture over a video call. Yes, I will repeat. It's just not enough to deliver lecture. You will all agree with me that all students are not same. Some need tight tracking, some need boosting, some need regulations and some need to learn at their own pace. Whatever is the identified need, adopting our learning management system will solve all these issues. In these times, live classroom seems like a very important tool. Same is true for e-attendance, educational networking, student engagement tracking. Young generation used to electronic media for all socializing and entertainment. Educational networking pivots on this. I am very sure even if we move out of the danger zone of COVID, still a progress-minded educator will keep balance between classroom and digital learning management system. We all call this as a blended learning environment. Going paperless, we will have to change the way we give homeworks, the way we collect assignments. Through SIMS, homeworks or assignment tasks can be conveyed to student via mobile app and portal. SIMS also has a provision for uploading the completed assignment and making it available for the teacher for evaluation. Timestamp of uploaded file will help in keep the track of on-time submission. We will also need to find out new ways and means of assessing students. Not only it needs to get electronic, but also it needs to move into mobiles. Please note, mobile is more than a computer. Surprise quizzes can help to track activities and understanding. If needed, internal assessment can now be spreaded over multiple surprise quizzes. As quizzes gets evaluated automatically and system remembers the marks given to the concept, the continuous comprehensive evaluation can be extended to the surprise quizzes. As the graph of victim is rising and all were busy in adjusting the pandemic situations, some authorities have cancelled the exam and might be an okay decision. But this can't be new normal. The new normal can be electronic exams. Potentially, this can be the most significant piece of transformation COVID can bring in our mainstream education. Exam from home is not a just concept anymore. Who knows, maybe the end semester exam would also be needed as exam from home. Our system is equipped to conduct MCQ as well as descriptive answer exams. SIMS can also handle evaluation from home, wherein teachers get to see entire answer paper on mobile for each answer and answer wise on-screen evaluation. The best part of this is that exams can be conducted reliably over the poor internet connection also. Surveys and feedback works as a backbone of healthy progressive system. Regulatory authorities like UGC, AICTE encourage natural surveys and feedback system for grading through the instruments like NAAC and NBA. While the paradigm is shifting, as we are preparing to work from home, it is important to maintain all goodies that were being followed in regular days. In case of assessment surveys, we need to keep doing them frequently as mode and method of education is changed and learning curve is involved for all. Digital Edu recommends taking surveys more frequently than before. Continuous evaluation of situation is must for assured success. Digital Edu SIMS has lot more to offer when it comes to NAAC and NBA implementation. It can be a topic on its own for another webinar. Digital Edu is equipping universities, autonomous institutes, educational trusts and colleges with a robust, secure, scalable and evolutionary process automation engine. We call it as SIMS, Student Information Management System. SIMS is all-in-one platform and end-to-end student lifecycle management, MIS, Management Information System, and ERP, which is Educational Resource Planning. As a first step towards digital transformation, adoption of SIMS is helping institutes in revamping entire organization, its process, people, and culture too. Every organization has used automation, but it has kept hooks for paper-based processes. Now, in new scenario, all operations have to be fully paperless. We have added new facilities to SIMS for turning institutions into a full digital operations. SIMS take care of all operational needs of all stakeholders like management team, staff and faculty as well as teachers. It also takes care of communication, collaboration and convenience for students and parents. Despite the differences that exist between organizations' environment, Digital Edu has proactively identified, studied analyzed, proposed, and developed case studies to improve the success factor. Digital Edu's mission is to enable world-class management standards at all educational establishments in India through technology. We strongly understand the concept of Eastern Economic Edition. We truly want to facilitate this journey of masses into classes via education. We are currently working with 125 plus institutes. We have developed a technology platform that covers all needs of any educational establishment. Automation of daily chores is our specialty. We offer free trial session for everything. Understand, evaluate, and then implement is our clear policy for handholding with educational institutes. Yes, participants. So this was all about the inputs from my side. There is one inconvenience to the many participants who could not join us on Zoom because of the capacity constraint, and they are trying from YouTube, but there is some issue with the YouTube and it's not live, session is not live. So my sincere apologies to those who are waiting for us on YouTube. So for them, what we are going to do is we are recording this overall webinar, and it will be posted on YouTube, and this link will be available to them in next few hours. Okay, so I would like to give some additional input related to the points we have discussed today here. Is communication, since everyone is now working from home. Okay, so all staff members, all educators, my teachers and faculties, as well as the students. So the all entire operations are happening from the home, from the remote places. So communication is a very important aspect. So in normal circumstances, we used to circulate notices, messages, government circulars. So all such things we will need to take care during the next few months, or in some areas of the country the situation will be worst, and the whole semester will go in the way like we are doing currently the operations. Okay, so looking at all these things, we all, like all educationists, have to give the focus on the communication aspect, and there has to be a secured, reliable platform for sharing this communication. Most of my friends who have joined this webinar might have used very effectively the WhatsApp for such kind of communication. Okay, but there would be few communications where you need to keep a record of those communications. It may be with the teachers, it might be with the like some official communications. So those needs to be tracked, and such communications we will need to maintain a record that yes, on such and such a date such communication is released. So to manage all these things, you can make use of a technology platform, and I hope it will be easier for all of us if everything comes on one single platform. It should not happen that for communication I'm using WhatsApp, for sharing the notes and other material I'm using Google Drive, and for exams I'm using, for quizzes I'm using some other tool. So if these things are going to happen, then it will be an overburden, it will be a burden over the my teachers and faculties as well as the staff members. Yeah, so to overcome all these challenges, we will have to lay down a foundation so that all these needs, we should be ready for fulfilling all these needs in coming time. Second aspect is related to the admission. As I mentioned that the concept should be admission from home. So I would like to elaborate little bit more on this topic, because if you see the government of certain universities has already released a circular. So Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University has clearly mentioned that admission 2020 will happen in a online mode. Okay, and they have given us specific SOP, mentioned a specific SOP for how these online admissions will be conducted. From my side, I would like to add one thing into it, that whenever these online admissions will be imposed for the students, in that case we will have to review the feasibility of availability of the laptops and computers with the students, so that they can participate in the admission process. And if like if most of the students do not have the laptops and mobiles, then they will go to the net cafes, and these net cafes and internet cafes, since everything is closed currently in certain part of the country or in some part of the Maharashtra also, so there is a chance that such students will be overcharged for this admission related process. Even last year, I'll tell you, the similar situation has occurred with some of the educational institute, where students used to pay 100 rupees for filling one online applications. So we will have to take care of all these things, and we have to make it simple and user friendly for the student, and there should not be any additional burdens to the students for filling their online application forms, uploading their documents, and for all these things. The admissions 2020 should happen from a small screen. Everyone, like almost everyone of us, is carrying a computer in your hand, so that is called as a smartphone. Okay, so system should be made available for the students, so that they can make use of such small screen for completing their admission related task. So that is one more proposal from us. And yes, since we have already implemented this solution in most of our customer places in past 3-4 years, and we are getting appreciated even this year onwards. Second aspect is related to sharing the class notes and all other things. So we will need a secure platform where intellectual property of the educational institute is protected, of the teachers faculty will be protected, and there has to be reusability component of whatever data or information you are sharing with the student. And if this is in one single platform, again I'm repeating, it will be difficult for students to move to different applications, as well as for the teachers to move to different applications for fulfilling these needs. So we should able to avoid such things, so that smoothly this transformation can be adopted by students as well as teachers. Second important aspect is related to the exams. Okay, so we all have experienced that the term end exams of 1920 has been cancelled. It was because of this, at least in Maharashtra, has been cancelled because of this COVID-19 pandemic, and it was a situation based decision. Okay, but what's our plan for the next term end exam? So we have to be equipped for conducting such exams. Okay, hopefully the situation will become better, and we could able to conduct these exams in the classroom. But if uncertainties continues in a similar fashion, then we will have to make plans so that even the term end exams also can be conducted from the home. And when we are planning for conducting exam, we cannot rely only on the MCQ based examinations. So multiple choice question examination, yes, that could be an choice, that could be a choice in worst situation, but we will have to make a provision where writing ability of students also needs to be evaluated, because exams are the chance we are giving our student to express their knowledge which they have gained. Okay, so we cannot uh, uh, we cannot we have to give them a chance to demonstrate themselves. So that's my suggestion to you all. So exam from home, MCQ plus subjective, and with following a protocol of the examination which is laid down by the university. That should be our focus. Second important aspect is related to the feedbacks and surveys. Okay, so the colleges and the educational institute who have implemented the NAC practices, okay, so they are already aware of this thing, and since the mode of education, since the mode of operation has changed, okay, so I feel there is a need to take feedback and satisfaction surveys from all the stakeholders who are involved in this teaching learning process or in the operations of educational institutes. Okay, because it is necessary to improve our activities continuously. In past 2.5 months, all of us have adopted small changes. There is a Japanese proverb which is called kaizen. So kaizen is small improvement over a period of time. So this has to continue. Okay, and that for that you need a closed loop feedback system. Okay, and that feedback system also has to be integral part of education management system. Okay, all these things will surely help to improve the effectiveness as well as efficiency of the operations of educational institutes. So that's a message to all of you. With this, I am stopping here. I would like to request participants to raise their hands so that I can allow them one by one and they can ask their questions. So Mr. Gopal Adhikari and Naresh Sawant, you can speak, and Mr. Ujwal, you can ask your question. Mr. Ujwal? Okay, there are few participants who have asked questions on question and answer session as well. Okay, Ujwal, Gopal and Mr. Naresh, you will have to unmute yourself. So Miss Kirti Bajaj, you can ask your question. I have allowed you to speak. You can unmute your mic. You can continue. Mr. Shinde, Bhagirath Shinde. I understand. I'm very thankful that you have already written your questions in the question and answer panel. But it will be a great help for me if you ask your question at your own, and other participants also will able to listen you. Roman Janbandhu, you can ask your question. Anyone from panelists would like to ask any question till other participants get ready for this? Hello.
At a stretch.
Yes,
We can't be putting it to 0, right?
yes. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anyone next?
Sir,
Yeah.
have questions in question and answer panel.
Yeah, please read it for others so that we can answer it ahead.
How can the question is from Indrita Chakraborty. How can we judge whether the online exams are open book exams or not?
How can we judge if they are open book exams or not? Well, it's not a thing to judge, right? It is a thing to declare that we are asking you questions which are of general nature, wherein a book won't have direct answer to the question. The question is formulated in such a way that you will have to apply your brain to it, and the ready-made answer won't be there in any book.
Someone whose mic is on is creating a lot of disturbance.
Yeah, a lot of noise is coming.
Priyanka ma'am, please mute all the participants.
Yeah, ma'am.
Bajaj sir's mic is creating a lot of disturbance.
Who's?
Kirti Bajaj.
Yes, Kirti
Priyanka
ma'am,
ma'am, can you just put
ma'am,
it
it
off,
is
please?
request to you.
Sir, I don't have that authority.
Mahajan sir, see, I have made you the host. So if you can make me the host in the panelist list, I can operate that from my side. So just right click on my name. In more option, there is a feature of making me host. I'll able to do that.
Give me a moment.
Please mute. Kirti Bajaj, please mute yourself.
Miss Kirti Bajaj. Can you
Please unmute. Please mute your mic.
Yogesh sir, you are a host now.
Okay, great. Fine. So I can mute her. Okay, fine. So yeah, Mr. Mahajan, you can continue.
You're back. You take it over, please.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the question is, the question is from Chakraborty ma'am.
Okay.
That just a minute. How can we judge whether the online exams are open book exams or not?
Okay. So as Mr. Mahajan explained that instead of judging, we will have to declare because the reference you can get it even in the UGC guideline, which has been published on 29th April. So they've clearly mentioned that in coming era, whatever exams will be happening due to the COVID-19 pandemic, okay, those exams will be conducted as an open book exams. And if see, if in near future these exams are being conducted at the colleges, in that case colleges can run those exams in laboratories, computer labs. Okay, so that might be a situation in the next term. In current terms, I won't see that it will be possible in almost all educational institutes. Okay, so yes, online exams can be conducted as an regular exam if you are conducting them through a laboratory like we did in last 2 to 3 years with the associated colleges. So student used to come into the laboratory in the batches, and they used to they used to appear for their online assessments by making use of the college facility. But in current era, if we are planning for online exams and when the students are at home, in that case we have to declare it as an open book exam. And when you are putting such exams as an open book exams, your question pattern, your the style, methodology or mode of asking the questions, so all these things will differ a little bit. A lot of literature is available for scheduling the online exam effective, like open book exams effectively. So all such things can be referred. That's my suggestion.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next question is from Miss Neera.
Yeah.
There are number of players for ERP.
Just a minute. Just a minute. I'll request Neera ma'am to ask this question if she is available. Neera, how do you spell N-E-E-R-A?
Yes.
Okay, Miss Neera, you can ask your question. Okay. Next name is
Just a minute.
Lloyd D'Souza. Okay, you can ask your question. And Dr. Sheetal, so you can also ask your question. So you will have to unmute your mics. You all have to unmute your mics.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Hello, this is Dr. Sheetal.
Yeah, Dr. Sheetal, welcome.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I just wanted to know yes, due to this pandemic era, we definitely have to make certain changes in examination pattern.
True.
Now, my doubt or my curiosity is that whether these certificates which the students will be getting will be acceptable in the market area.
Okay. So
Like the authenticity, yes, we definitely will judge them, we evaluate them, assess them, we will be giving them the certificate. Whether this certificate, what is the market value of the certificate?
okay. Okay. Before coming to the market value of the certificate, so I'll answer your question. So before coming to that point, I would like to give little focus on how we are conducting the exam in normal scenario. In normal scenario, we are releasing a question paper where group of students sit in a room and write down their answer sheet. Okay, and that answer sheet is given for assessment, and the group of teachers assess those answer sheets, and they follow a particular protocol so that all subjects answer sheets has been assessed in a systematic way, and finally we declare the results. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the whole process, we all know, so there is no need to repeat. Okay, the similar way when we are thinking of online assessments, okay, I'll give you a simple example. The GRE, GMAT, these are the exams which are conducted at the global level. Okay,
Yes.
and the process which they are following, okay, so it's not the method of conducting exam. I want to give you the input that the process how you are conducting the exam, that has to be reliable. Okay,
Okay.
and if that process is reliable, then output of that process will also be reliable and will be accepted in the market. Okay, so for doing this, what we all have to ensure is there is the honesty from the student side when they are giving the exam. Okay, so this can be even in normal examination, we are ensuring the honesty of the student, we are supervising the students. So when the online exams will get conducted, during that phase there has to be a facility of smart proctoring. Okay, so smart proctoring will ensure the reliability of the students who is giving the online exam. Second thing, can we digitally assess that right person is giving that exam? Yes, so that solution is also there. You can refer my previous webinars of exam from home. So it is revolving around your like, so all the solutions are revolving around your answer to your question.
Okay.
Second point is, when most of us are thinking of online exam, the concept come in our mind is only the MCQ based exam. Okay, but nowadays we are giving a facility to the educational institute. You can conduct the descriptive answer exam in a similar fashion which you used to do it during your classroom
Yeah,
assessment.
like we used to have a answer model answer type.
It's not model answer type. The solution which we are offering there, student can write their answer on a piece of paper. They can
Okay.
draw the diagram if it is a science or anything, or if it is a commerce, they can draw the charts and they can take a picture of that answer and upload it as an attachment to the answer. So we have to understand one thing, that every student is not will not able to write or type on the mobile screen or computer screen. So it has to be a blended approach, and that has been offered by Digital Edu to most of the customers, and extending these things for the evaluation. So even for the teachers, the evaluation has to be very simple. Okay, so in our system, what happens is they get answer to a question which is given by the student. They can scroll it. If there is a multiple attachment, teacher can evaluate these answers and give marks to those answers there itself, and system takes care of that. The complete totaling of the marks, and the entire authenticity of the evaluation process is also ensured by the system. Yeah, so when it comes to online exam, if we are following a right process, okay, I'm sure the mark sheets or the output of the examination will be equally weighted in the market. I hope other participants will also agree with me. So Dr. Sheetal, I hope I have answered your question.
Yogesh sir.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, the same question is raised by many of the participants, that what will be the authenticity and the weightage of this examination when conducted online. Very rightly you said that proctoring is the only answer.
Yes.
I had seen some proctoring like CoCubes and all. If your eyeball, if they move beyond certain angle, the test stops.
Correct. So artificial intelligence is a solution for that.
Artificial intelligence. Technology is the solution for the technology.
Correct.
Yeah, technology only will justify the technology. Even Dr. Sheetal madam, I would like to bring to your notice that in that proctoring, if even a shadow is also seen behind the candidate, the test is stopped immediately. So if you have that kind of software, or if the word is spread, because it is going to spread very fast.
Yes.
And I think things will go on in that way only.
Yeah, true, sir. And even UGC has recommended these things in the month of April, that looking at the overall impact of this COVID-19, because the situation is uncertain. We are not sure.
It is not only COVID-19, sir, because the outside world beyond the education was slowly moving towards this. We can see the test conducted by Tata, Wipro, I mean to say TCS. If I say Tata, TCS, Wipro, then all these IT giants, they started recruiting people through all AI proctor tests.
Yes, true,
So
sir.
they were slowly moving. We never thought that it will come on to education system so fast.
Yes.
Yeah, it's only because of COVID that it has now percolated so fast. Otherwise, for recruitment process, all these companies had started these processes nationwide, one test and auto proctored.
True.
Yeah, that proctoring will get weightages. Like see, presently we are conducting online exams like JEE and all. So that kind of agencies now will no longer be required if your lab is equipped with all the softwares and the systems.
Absolutely.
So the schools will get their credibility based on the technology and facility available.
Yes.
Then one more question was asked by someone in the question box. As a panelist, I would like to put my views also forward.
Yeah, sure, sir.
They asked me, what about people or schools or colleges who do not have such technology systems? Here I would like to bring to everyone's notice that henceforth survival without technology will be very difficult.
Yes.
See, all the regulatory authorities around the globe are insisting that schools or colleges should have these systems. Technology should be there, internet connection, Wi-Fi campus, all these things are made mandatory for higher education. And we never expected that this will again, I am repeating the same point, will come to school level, school education. See, college education, this was being in the process, but at school level, it has come a bit early, maybe I would say 2 to 3 years early. The stage would have come after 3 years that schools would have gone. So technology is now going to be the integral part of our life henceforth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I would like few points to add few points here on the same line. As the question was, what if the institutes don't have these facilities? So the simple answer is we will have to go and get these facilities. Like as NAC came in and they said you need to have audio video conferencing room so that you can have remote lectures from experts from other part of the world, right? Institutes started spending in crores to have a audio video satellite connected or live internet connected type of audio video rooms also, correct? Now the technology
Yogesh sir, please be louder.
okay. So shall I start from the first?
No, sir. Fine.
Okay. So as in what we are moving, there are 2-3 ways of acquiring these technologies. Due to mass implementation, whatever was 1 year before called as premium service, now they have become a day-to-day service. And every company, even Zoom, even Microsoft, even Amazon is readjusting their price coordinates pretty fast, looking at the demand. So in technology, one thing is pretty sure. When the demand goes up, the cost comes down. So it will become affordable, don't worry. Second thing is there are companies and there are corporate houses outside who are going out for CSRs. You can chase them and get them at your institute for such facilities. So these are just 2 additional points for institutes who cannot afford getting into this zone at the rate at which it has approached us, right? Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Mahajan. So anyone else would like to participate in this discussion? Any question from participants? So it's more than 1 hour we are connected with each other. I really respect your patience and your participation is also very nice. Very good questions has been raised. So anyone else? Suchita
Yogesh, sir.
Godbole, Miss Suchita Godbole, if you want, you can ask your question. Priyanka Mishra. So Miss Priyanka Mishra, you can ask your question. It's appearing in the question and answer panel. Priyanka Mishra. So I think, that has been already asked.
Hello, Yogesh sir.
Yeah, please.
This is Asha ma'am.
Yeah.
I just would like to ask you that many participants and their concern is if the institutions will not have this kind of facilities or infrastructure. So can you please throw some light that only teacher can make the change and he can bring the change if he will use his own device. So bring his own device into teaching learning system. So can you please throw some light how teachers or how the educators can use their devices for teaching learning process fully?
Yes. So first of all, I would like to thank all the teachers, because if you observe in last 2.5 months, I'm repeating this, but it's necessary to answer this question. In last 2.5 months, the teacher has taken the extra efforts, the faculty has taken the extra efforts. They improved their knowledge for making it or using it for the teaching learning process. Okay, so what I've seen is 80% of the teachers and faculties have used their own devices for doing these things, and it was at their interest. They are being doing it, and we should able to adopt such a technology, because it will be difficult for providing a studio like infrastructure for every teacher. Okay, so your smartphone, okay, may it be a very basic smartphone. I'm using a smartphone which is costing just 8 to 9,000 in nowadays. Okay, and this can be effectively used, for delivering all these things. And what you need is, this hardware is with you, you will need a good software which will enable you to effortlessly do your task from the small computer. So this is a small computer everyone is carrying with them, and this has to be used. And see, already you all have contributed in this change. So in coming era, I feel your digital gadget will become your tool, like chalk and duster. So जैसा हर टीचर के हाथ में एक चॉक डस्टर और बुक होता है, ओके, लाइकवाइज ये डिजिटल गैजेट्स भी एक तरह के टूल होंगे टीचर्स के लिए, ताकि वो अपना काम सही तरीके से कर सके। एंड मोस्ट ऑफ इसमें अपने खुद के ही गैजेट्स ये रहेंगे। Okay, so that's my suggestion to you. Again, depends upon the involvement or the will of the teachers for making use of their own gadgets. Okay, technological challenges also would be there, because everyone may not have the compatible hardware. So ऐसे सारे challenges को अपने अपने level पे हमें discuss करके solve करना पड़ेगा. So institute level पे ये चीजें आनी पड़ेंगी, and we I'm very sure that teachers are already motivated to do all these things. Asha ma'am,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I
Thank
would
you
like
so
to
much,
add a few, one simple point here, Asha ma'am.
Yes, sir. Please.
Yeah. So as you asked about, let's talk of a use case in normal. Right now, say my under my COVID situation, I'm at home, I'm doing some lecture. I'll put my camera on my table or a chair in front of me and record my lecture and put on slides as and when needed. And that's how my lectures are going on, right? But what happens when we resume back to classroom lectures? That time also, teacher can just put their cell phones onto the front desk facing the blackboard, and they can start delivering their lectures in front of the camera and in front of the students simultaneously. Now your device is recording your lecture and is putting it in the digital repository, so that students who are absent, so that students who are working and earning, learning and earning at the same time, they can also benefit from these lectures which they have missed. So we can bring out best of both the worlds to the students if we start now. And what will it need extra is a clip which is available on Amazon for just 20 to 30 rupees, or maybe even 100 rupees. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
yeah, so I think all participants, Mr. Naresh Sawant, you can ask your question if you have. We are already like, since we have started, we are at 1 hour and 20 minutes. Okay, so it's time to say thanks from my side.
Mr. Pawar, there is an interesting question there from an anonymous attendee.
Okay.
The question goes this way. What should be our approach to involve parents? Value their efforts as they are important partners in delivery of online education. Cost and efforts they are putting should be appreciated, and also efforts at institutional levels need to be communicated well to them.
Yes, sir. You can answer this question.
Okay, I'll
Yeah,
please.
Group
Yes, actually, I respect this sentiment. See, the second largest investment any parent does in his or her lifetime after home is in education. And yes, involvement of parent is equally important. So that part has been majorly neglected at college level. It goes on to a few steps up to 4th or 5th or 6th at colleges, and later it starts diminishing. But through Digital Edu, we are proposing mobile app. We have it for years right now, but not all institutes are equally keen on getting on to digital platform so that updates are being forwarded to parents. May it be attendance, may it be progress of syllabus, may it be exams and results. If they can be published onto the cell phone of parent, they keep so many apps. Having one more app extra won't be a big thing. If we go and look at all the situations about technology, availability, and all those things, 5 years before, how many of us thought that we would be using Facebook on our cell phones so frequently? Or we would be using WhatsApp so frequently? There was a time when one SMS was costing 1 rupee or even 2 rupees. That time we never sent so many thousands of messages as what we send on WhatsApp, right? So with change in technology, we modify ourselves. So if we as educators, educationists and educrats, if we start taking up steps, start putting up things to parents also, I think we will create an environment which will be more student centric, or maybe more helpful to bring out best in the students. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, so from my side, I'm very thankful to all the attendees as well as the panelists who has contributed for success of this event.
Yes, sir.
So it's over to you, ma'am. Asha, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable and very informative sessions. So you have very nicely solved all the queries of all the participants, and I think every one of them, they are very much satisfied with what are the queries they have solved. And definitely it was a very useful session. We were getting the responses from everywhere that they like the sessions very much, and it is really going to help them a lot in the future. Thank you so much once again. Now I request Dr. Rekha Patil ma'am to propose vote of thanks.
Thank you, Smita ma'am. A very good afternoon to one and all present here. It gives me immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this event. On behalf of Ashoka Education Foundation, Ashoka College of Education, I would like to thank our chairman, sir, chairman of Ashoka Education Foundation, Mr. Ashokji Kataria, sir, for giving the motivation to conduct this event. Thank you so much, sir. I would like to thank Director of Ashoka Education Foundation, Dr. D.M. Gujarati, sir. Thank you, sir, for inspiration and motivation you have given. I would also like to thank Administrator of Ashoka Education Foundation, Dr. Narendra Telrande, sir, for his encouraging words and valuable thoughts. Thank you so much, sir. Special and most heartful thanks to our resource person, Director of Digital Education IT Solution, Mr. Yogesh Pawar, sir, for this fascinating and informative session. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
My sincere thanks to Principal of Ashoka College of Education, Ajay Kumar Ingre sir, Vice Principal, Asha Thoke madam. I would also like to thank Coordinator, Digital Education IT Solution, Priya Lokhande madam, and all team members of Digital Education IT Solution. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm grateful, very much grateful to all the participants, vice principal, principals, HODs, teachers, and admin staff. Thank you so much. I would like to thank Smita Borade madam, a coordinator of BA/BEd, and all AC staff member, Ashoka College of Education staff members and admin staff. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
There is one announcement for the participants. There is one announcement is there. Feedback link will be given to you on the Telegram group and the email ID also. So please kindly fill the feedback form, and definitely you will get the certificates. I think certificate you will get after 10 days. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.